I'm Bill Southworth. I was in Nigeria in a town known as Funtua, which is now a city, and I arrived January 6th, 1963, and served the 2 years, which was the only time we were allowed to serve, December 1964. The fact that those of us who were going to the north in particular, or any small village, which is what this was, the language was so critical, and that was one of the key points, as you know, about Peace Corps training, the tremendous influence, the tremendous amount of language training, which was great because that's what they spoke, other than the students who spoke enough English, which is what we trained in. But knowing their language just made a huge, it was again a leveler to be able to interact with people in the town, in the village. And so that was, that was the first memory that'll never ever go away. It was such a fond memory. Well, I think of the first time I went into the village. I hopped on my bike and headed into the village. It was about 2 kilometers away. I needed some flour. It was about 9 in the morning, and the shops had just, were open, and I saw this one little stand that had flour on the shelf. And I went up and said, again, this was in the first week we were there, I would like some flour. And he said, Sanu, which is the greeting. And I totally had forgotten that, even though we had that drilled into our heads at training. And I said, Yawa Sanu, which is a reply to Sanu. And then I said, I would like some flour. And he said, Ina Kwana, how was the night? And I said, Lafialo, which means the night was fine. Even though if you were deathly ill during the night, you'd still say, Lafialo, the night was fine. I would like some flour. He said, Ina Aiki, how was your work? And I said, Aiki Yayawa, Aiki Dakyao. Aiki Yayawa means it was a lot of work. He laughed, because he knew who I was. They knew before I even arrived in the village to teach. And the work is fine. Aiki Dakyao. At that point, it was like I had been finally hit upside the head with a sledgehammer. I had totally missed out on their way of interacting with a person, which to this day is still something very important to me. How you began, something I use in my leadership training, one of 4 cardinal rules. How you began is almost certainly going to determine how it will end. So how you began in this culture was so important. You took the time to actually go through that greeting. It was a set of greetings that you would use. So at that point, I realized I totally had missed it. And he was my teacher. A very good teacher. He was very patient. So then we talked for about 5 minutes in Hausa about his family, and he asked about my family, and I asked some things about his country, and because they were the source, they were the teachers. And then he asked about my country, and then after about 5 minutes, he then said, so you would like some flour? What I didn't say to him, but I wish I had the opportunity again to say thank you, Nagode, which is thanks to God, for a very important lesson. So I guess my thanks to him is to carry that into the teaching thereafter, the trainings thereafter, that have been my life. in a whole variety of, academic and as well as Peace Corps, as well as the whole leadership training since, for several decades. Anyway, so that was a very important lesson.